All right, all right, all right. We are live. This is Sub Zero 3639 coming back to you. Many of you guys are familiar with the gentleman on the other side of the screen, but I will introduce him. This is Tieron Spear. I met this brother at a Black Enterprise Conference back in 2015, 5 years ago. He had just started a business that was in the hair care business, and he
Mhm.
breaking in about 25 a month at the time. Um, I would call him from time to time real knowledgeable, high IQ brother. And he eventually wound up growing that business to 180,000 last time I had him on here. That was about a year and a half ago, 2 years
Yeah.
ago. So
Hmm.
he was at 180,000 a month. That was 2 years ago. Uh, Surely he hasn't gone down. He knows, very knowledgeable brother, very intelligent, high IQ brother. I can't stress enough. You're about to be in for a retreat. I will introduce this brother. I have introduced him, Mr. Tieron Spear. Welcome to Sub Zero 3639's channel.
Hey, to everybody out there. Good morning, top of the morning, everybody, and I look forward to dropping some gems that you guys can use to someday have a liquidation event in your business.
Okay, so let me say this. First things first. We have a situation. I'm talking. Well, what initially brought this on was I called Tieron and I asked him about starting. What how do you evaluate, or what constitutes the valuation of a business being a $1 million business? Makes a billion? What makes a business worth $1 million? And I was speaking to my brother, and my brother mentioned that the business doesn't necessarily have to bring in $1 million a year. And internet businesses can be evaluated as $1 million businesses on a myriad of ways. So
Okay.
what constitutes $1 million business
Well,
in
before
your
we jump
mind?
into that, I'd like to hear what your brother had to say.
Well, he
So
first said
he said they don't
he
have to make $1 million a year. Okay.
they don't was basically saying that they can it can be 2 or 3 times earnings, sometimes 4 times earnings as far as the gross of the business per year.
Right.
Um, I'm a little nervous about that because I mean, if you got a 2% margin, I mean, so if you make $1 million and you only work making 20,000, then it's not $1 million business. So I'm just trying to, I guess profitability has some goes into that equation as well. You there? Oh, you,
So going.
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, move. So you can.
Yeah, I hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. So basically, it's kind of like meeting you and your brother at the halfway mark. So if your business is profitable, if your business profits are $250,000 a year after your expenses, your taxes, and let's just say your cost of goods. After, because there's an acronym, and it's it's like EIM or something like that. So after your EIM, uh, I think actually it's like ETIM or something like that. So after your expenses, your taxes, and let's say your marketing costs, and there's one other thing in there. But like after those things, then how much money is left over, right? So once we know what that number is, then we can possibly multiply that number times four and then figure out what your valuation is.
Oh, okay. So that's how it works for any internet. Is this just internet? Is it different from the internet than like a brick and mortar?
Right. So okay. So now let's dig into is that what it is across the board for everybody? So the quick answer is no. So whether you're brick and mortar or whether you're internet business, it's really going to depend on one, how savvy you are as the person that's selling your business, and then also how savvy the buyer is. So one, when it comes down to internet marketing businesses, or e-commerce business, a business, and when it comes down to it specifically, when it comes down to an e-commerce business, you so when we talk about they're going to buy it one time, two times, three times, that's called the multiple. Depending on what niche or category or industry that you're in, the multiple for that industry could actually be a lot higher. So let's just say I was selling. Let's just say I was not just selling, but let's just say I'm selling and manufacturing. So I'd rather say that. Let's just say, or I'll just say this. Let's just say I have an exclusive deal with the manufacturer to where I'm going to be the person that's allowed to distribute this product on the internet. So I have a e-commerce store, and what that e-commerce store sells is medical equipment. So I sell medical equipment. Medical equipment has a multiple of typically like 1721x. So that means that if I get that business profitable to $200,000 a year, I could possibly get anywhere between 10 to 17 to 20x of
Okay.
what my actual profits are.
Man.
So a good okay, so go ahead. What's your next question?
Now, I guess how would I know the multiple for my particular niche?
Perfect. So how do I know the multiple? How do I know the multiple for my particular niche? One thing you can do is you can start looking at mergers and acquisitions on websites such as flipper.com, and also I believe it's empireflippers.com. I believe it's the other website.
Okay.
And so you can go on there, and then you can go and you can look for websites that's similar to yours and then see what they sold for.
Okay. So if
And
if it's smaller, let's say it's a business, let's say I have an e-commerce store, and the e-commerce I'm selling, I don't know, just a regular Shopify store. I'm selling all different types of products.
yeah,
And it sells for, I've seen some stuff like 10 months earnings, just 10 months, not even a year.
you're right. Okay.
So 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 what you're saying is, if I in proportion, let's say that person is making $6,000 a month and they sold it for $60,000.
Okay.
If I'm making 70,000 a month or 60,000 a month, I can sell for 600,000. Is that what I probably could think like, or would it go
If
way out?
those numbers,
It's a
no, I'm
lot
just saying.
different. Go ahead.
No, if the, I mean, so now, I mean, now you asking a math question. So when if you find a website on Flipper and apples to apples, your websites are the exact same thing, then you can put it on Flipper for whatever those numbers deem that is worth, right? And then from there, you now have to find a buyer who's willing to agree with that, and so from the buyer standpoint, so of course I do angel investing too now. I've invested probably into now three businesses. One business is doing very well, and the other two businesses are still kind of getting off the ground. So these are like startups that we're investing into. I'm not investing into them by myself. Typically, I'm not even the one looking for these businesses. Typically, somebody else is. Some angel investors that I know that are part of the Atlanta Angel Network, Atlanta Angel Investors Network is what it is. So people that's a part of the Atlanta Angel Investors Network, they'll bring me in on something that's like internet related, because they know my background, and they also know that I'm not just gonna just cut a check, but I'm also going to be able to give intellectual value to the. I also bring intellectual capital too. So anyway, um, from the buyer standpoint, the buyer may also look at your business and they may understand that this business has way more potential than once they start going through the books, and then they'll talk to you too. They'll interview you and they'll ask you certain questions. And then, you start at the way depending on how you answer those questions, it lets them know, oh, okay, he's asking for $100,000, but really, he's made $100,000 with this business, but really we know we can make $1 million with it. So even though you asked for 100,000, and that may be a multiple of 5 for you, they may turn around and give you 200,000. So now you have a multiple of 10. But
Okay.
that was because the that was because the buyer was savvy enough to look at this business because of whatever level they're on, or whatever level their network is on, and their network is telling them like, yo, this guy just didn't know what he had. go ahead and give him double what he's asking for, because we're going to make that money back in a month.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So
So
that plays a factor.
okay.
Yep.
So I guess before knowing how to raise a million dollar business, you probably want to go on Flipper. And it's FLIPPA,
Yeah.
flipper.com. You
You can
go
just
there
drop
and
it in the
look.
comments or something.
Yeah, I'll go get the link. But while they're talking, some of these might be my new subscribers, and I
Yeah.
really would. I think you have a very fascinating story. This brother is a real go getter brother, man. I want to just kind of briefly talk about how you got started, what made you get into a business like you got. You don't have to, of course, you don't have to get a secret sauce, but just in general, talk about what it is you do and why did you do it.
Yeah. I don't. First off, I don't even think there's a secret sauce, but I don't think there's a secret sauce. It's a lot of sauces. It's a lot of sauces cooking. To make it takes a lot of sauces cooking to make a business successful. But I started. I grew up in the hood. Grew up in the hood. Below the poverty line, and from there joined the Marine Corps. Spent 8 years in the Marine Corps. Spent the last 4 years protecting President Bush, Colin Powell, and other foreign diplomats, and also the Saudi royal family. That's worth like $1.4 trillion now. So protecting them. Then I got a top secret security clearance for my after my last 4 years in the Marine Corps, or during my last 4 years in the Marine Corps is when I got the top secret security clearance from the State Department. I left the Marine Corps during the war when we was having during the war. Then I went to Afghanistan with Halliburton. Then I went to Iraq with Halliburton, and then became the operations. And became the main operations guy for Southern Iraq. Then I left. Then I left just before I left Halliburton, because the reason why I say I was the main operations guy is because I was seeing. I started my first business in the hood at 8 years old because of just stuff I was just watching on TV. That's what inspired me to say, okay, I want to start a business. So Michael J. Fox from whatever the TV show he was on. So, and I had drug dealers around me as well. So I've seen large sums of drug money as well. So all of those things planted seeds into my psyche. So the first business that I started was basically selling ices in the hood. So that's what so that's and I spent like I found $80 on the ground, and I turned that $80 into $600. And but I just didn't know that ices or frozen Kool-Aid was a seasonal business. So anyway, fast forward, when I'm with Halliburton and I'm doing operations, and we're building small cities around Iraq. And basically I'm like I think it's called the city manager. I'm basically acting as like the city manager. So all of these different trades and everything are reporting to me, and I'm seeing the numbers. So I'm saying that these projects are generating $30 million, $300 million, and so on and so forth. So anyway, I say, oh, well, I can do this myself. So just before I leave Halliburton, I take my money and I spend my money on building a water plant in Kenya. And that's something I'm still working out contracts and everything for, to actually bottle up water and ship it out to whoever it is that need it, or be a distributor for like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or something like that. So that's something I'm working on. So just before I left Halliburton, I then went to go work for Blackwater. So then I got back in my Marine Corps security bag, and while I'm working for Blackwater, uh, my girlfriend at the time, and still a business partner, she had a hair salon, has a hair salon, and she was trying to get it ranked on Google. So I went ahead and picked up a book about search engine optimization. I went back overseas, went back to was it Mosul, Afghanistan, and I'm sitting there in Mosul, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm just reading through the book, Mazar Sharif, Afghanistan. My bad. So Mazar Sharif, Afghanistan, at the consulate there, and I'm just reading through the book, and I learned how to do search engine optimization. I found a mentor. He put me onto some game, and the next thing you know, the salon ranked, and then now she's starting to pull in $300,000 a year, $500,000 a year. And so far to date, she's probably done about $2 million in that salon, and then that's not counting hair sales. So once I started making money for her, and I learned SEO, I then jumped on Amazon, because I saw that there was another. When I came home again, I was sitting there in the salon. I saw all these women walking in there, and they had hair loss, or they had some sort of hair damage. So then I was like, okay, well, one of the things we need to do is we need to get into selling hair care products. Before all of this, while I'm sitting in Afghanistan and Iraq, I looked at it as like being in prison, because we couldn't really just jump in cars and drive around and do this and do that. You're kind of stuck on base. So you're only doing two things. You're basically getting smarter and you're working out. So while I'm there getting smarter and working out, I started consuming all of these business books. And one of the business books talked about understanding the vertical, understanding everything that supports that business and what keeps that business, what makes that, like if you was to cut off one of these legs, how would that business continue to walk? So when I understood that, okay, to run a salon, you need to have hair, you need to have your own hair care product line, you need to have your own hair extensions, obviously you need to have a facility, and obviously you need to have employees to do hair. So she only had one of those things. She had a facility and employees that did hair, and everything else she was buying out she didn't own. So I was like, we need to own the shampoo and conditioner and everything, and we also need to own hair extensions. And that helped balloon that business as well. The reason why I'm breaking these things down is because I'm going to tell you something about what we first started talking about, which is valuating a business. So then took that same mindset and I moved it into the e-commerce world. So I started doing the SEO stuff on Amazon. The product started ranking, and then from there, boom, the product started bringing in about 15. Actually, started about $10 or $100, and then it moved up to $15,000 and like $20,000, where it topped off at on Amazon. My listing got shut down. Then I was against spending money on traffic, is what I was calling it, or really it was spending money on advertising. And I just thought that because I knew SEO, I could rank and keep making money, quote unquote, for free. But SEO takes a lot of time, energy, and you're still working. Whereas when you're spending money on that, there isn't like a this or that. It's actually like this and that and this and that and this and that. It's really what it is. So so with the SEO, when you spend money on traffic, it actually just makes your SEO work even faster. And of course, that's also based on the algorithm. So like if you're on the YouTube algorithm and you're trying to get something to rank, you typically don't want to, quote unquote, spend money on traffic directly through Google. You probably want to send that traffic through like a different link, like a Pinterest link or a Twitter link, and then allow that to help the video rank on YouTube, because now it looks organic. So I take the SEO skills. The listing gets shut down. I start learning about sales copy. I start learning about Facebook ads, which I had been doing some testing with anyway. And then from there, I'm now on Shopify. So now I'm on Shopify. And when I started running the numbers, I was like, okay, I was up over here and I wasn't spending any money, but I'm actually paying Amazon more money. So now that I'm over here on my own website, and Amazon was keeping all my data as well. But then I learned a black hat trick, and then I was able to get all my data from Amazon and then take that and use that for my own good over on Shopify. So then, boom, I grow the Shopify business. I grow the Shopify business in 7 months to one to like one to like 1 million, like $1,070,000, something like that. Yeah, like $1,070,000 in 7.5 months. And that was because I started. I learned of course I knew the SEO. So when my listing came back online over on Amazon, then sales started coming back in there. But primarily it was Facebook ads running to my Shopify store, and that's what got me to my first $1 million. And then I also understood sales funnels. So I wasn't just selling somebody one thing, I was selling people multiple things. So when we started talking about these multiple sauces, it's like the SEO sauce, it's like the copywriting sauce, it's like the media buying or being able to buy advertising sauce, and then it's about the sales funnel sauce, the sauce of selling people multiple things. And then you also got your email marketing sauce, and then you got your text messaging sauce. The reason why I'm mentioning all these other sauces is because all of these other sauces, when it comes down to valuating a business, a buyer is now looking at your business and saying, okay, if Facebook goes down, they still got traffic coming from YouTube, and that's making money. Okay, if their YouTube go down, they got people on subscription and it's making money. Okay, their subscription go down, they got people on email and that's making money. Then they show me the money that they making up over here on something else, that they also have going on. So there's multiple streams of income coming into that business. They got Snapchat popping. So all of these different streams that they have that this company has coming into the business, that's also going to be key to the valuation of the business. So whereas another business that's similar to yours and you're running the exact same marketing campaigns, because I believe on Flipper and other websites, they kind of list like what are the primary sources of advertising. So now you can come and say, oh, you bought this business right here for $150,000 for 3. Because with this business right here, the risk factor is high because if Facebook shuts them down, they're done. We've mastered 3 different traffic sources, and we have some other redundant systems in place to where when we shut down all of our traffic, all of our paid traffic, we still make this much money a month. You can start basing your valuation just off of that number alone. Now, and I hope that part wasn't over people's heads, but you shut down your paid traffic, meaning that the paid advertising for Facebook, paid advertising for YouTube, whatever you're spending money on for those advertising platforms, and you have a subscription-based business, and those subscriptions are making you so much money. Every time you send out an email, that makes you so much money. That's traffic that you own. You're not paying anybody for that. So now you have your traffic that you own. Your valuation got to be different. You can't give me the same check that you gave this person up over here because they don't have what I have. And then even though you may have, if let's just say that you have customers that potentially will buy from you multiple times, but they never have. You have customers emails, but you've never sent them an email, so you don't even know how much money you can make. When you come to me, my customers have swiped their card on a subscription. They've also swiped their card every time I sent out an email. So just because you have these assets, if you've never monetized these assets, then the risk factor is still high. If I'm showing you that I've monetized all of these streams of income in my business and they continue to be profitable, it's a different story. You can't. So now I can go on Flipper and I can see what my minimals are going to be. Probably is what I'm saying, depending on if they got the same thing that I got. I can now look on Flipper and look at my minimals, or I can go on Flipper and be like, I can see somebody who has more streams of income into his business than I have, and now I can be like, okay, well, this is probably somewhere what my maximum is going to be on Flipper.
Okay, that was a lot of information, man.
Yeah.
I told y'all this brother's a high IQ, sharp brother. I doubt he done took it. I doubt if he has taken an IQ test, I'm sure he's north of 150. Easy. Brother is sharp, man. I love to call him. Every time I call this brother, him and Erica Williams, those are 2 people that I talk to, and it actually energizes me in certain areas and motivates me to go do other things. So
shout out to Erica.
Actually, yeah, shout out to that sister. I was at her place at her event Saturday.
This is sister doing the trucking, natural hair, and all of that.
Oh, yeah.
She's from Panama.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't know she's from Panama. I thought Erica was from just North Carolina. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, I believe this sister. Yeah, she got a country accent, right?
Erica Williams. I think she lives in where?
She does trucking and real estate and digital products on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe her heritage is Panamanian.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. Everybody's already asking, they ready to throw some money your way as far as learning. But is that what's in the comments? I can't see the comments. They asking like, okay, does he teach it? And I'm like, the last time I talked to you, you really was more so just focused on your business. You really weren't trying to do that. Are you still like that?
So what I've done is I've started 2 groups on Facebook. And so it's called like NLA first 100 sales. And then if you're already making money, you're selling online, then I have NLA next 100 sales. So those are the 2 groups that I have on Facebook. And then once you're a part of that group, if you need to sit down with me one on one, then that's like, then if because you're in the group, normally it's depending on what's going on, it's like $2,000 for an hour. So that's just what it is, because I'm actually going to give you that type of, when you hear these numbers like uh oh, you're gonna charge somebody $2,000 an hour. Like, how can you even ask somebody for $2,000 an hour? What is that person going to get for $2,000 an hour? You can't charge anybody. Like, I can't ask you for $10,000 if I'm not going to 10x. Like, what you're going to get from me isn't going to be 10x that inside, 10x that in value. So I can't ask you for 10 grand if I can't, if when you apply what it is that I'm telling you doesn't give you $100,000, doesn't at least give you $100,000. I can, me now, I can fuck up I can fuck up a lot of stuff and still make $100,000 because of the information that I have in my brain. I literally just set up a new e-commerce brand and it already broke $100,000. I'm not even tripping off of making $100,000. $100,000 in the business, and this isn't anything. Like, just take this at the energy that it is. It is a failure for me to create a business that only does $100,000.
A year or a month?
A year, $100,000 in a year, not in a month. In a month we cooking. So if it's a failure for me to create a business that makes $100,000, that's not
I
that's
had
not
to ask. I had
any
to
money.
ask with you. I had to ask with you, brother, because you might be talking about a month.
yeah,
I had to ask you.
yeah, yeah,
I had to
yeah,
ask
yeah,
you.
yeah. Yeah. I haven't gotten there yet. I haven't gotten to that status yet where I'm like, to make
I see.
$100,000 money is a failure. But to make
Okay.
$100,000, yeah, but to make $100,000 in a year, what is that? That's like less than $10,000 a month, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
less
about
than. Yeah, that's like
yeah.
8,000. That's like $8,000 a month. Like, we are like, for me, knowing what I know, we are like a limping. We're like crawling along at 8 grand a month. So we're crawling along, and it's like who's running this business. So for people that are just, so that's why I can tell somebody, okay, you want to sit down with me and you want to stop me from doing everything that I'm doing. You're gonna pay me $3,500. You're gonna pay me $2,000. You're gonna pay me whatever. People inside the group, after they've answered the right questions and they've proven themselves, the group is free, but you just but everybody just can't get inside the group. So it's not a free group that's open for everybody. I ask you a certain amount of questions. I present those questions to you guys. Do you have $2,000? Do you have $2,000 on spend money on to spend money on copy, to spend money on landing pages, to spend money on design? Not $2,000 each, but do you just have $2,000 to the side? Do you already know what kind of product it is that you want to buy? So that's for the people that's just getting started. So those are the things. So they need to have that money, because you can't implement nothing that I'm telling you if you don't have any money. You can't. I can't point you to people and say, use this person to write your Facebook ads. Use this person to do your landing page. Hire this designer and have them come in and design your stuff. You're not. But you can't
Hello?
execute on anything. You want people inside to execute. Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I hear
So
you.
yeah, I
You
don't.
blinked out for a second.
Okay, so yeah, I don't want, even though the group is free, I'm still asking people if they have $2,000 and have they made any sales online, and if their Shopify store is already set up. Setting up your Shopify store and all that type of stuff like that, you can find that information on YouTube. I don't. You don't want me to spend my time telling you how to set up a Shopify store. Now, as far as design, conversion optimization, which is called CRO, conversion rate optimization, that's a whole skill set in and of itself. I have that information in my head. A Crow guy is going to cost you 10 grand out the gate before he even sit down with you. Like, they already want to know, what are your numbers, how much traffic, what is your conversion rate, and yada 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 yada. It's a laundry list of stuff that you have to answer before that guy is even going to sit down and talk with you. I got that type of information in my head. An email marketing guy, the setup fee, I'm talking about a real email marketing guy that's worth his salt. The setup fee is going to be 5 grand. I already spent $35,000 on email and made I believe like $400,000 off of email, off of my own email after I paid to get it set up. I got that information in my head. Text message marketing, text message marketer. It'll probably cost you a $3,500 setup fee. Then you need sales copy in your text messages to see what's converting and yada yada yada. I have all that information in my head, and I have the stats to prove. And I have the stats of how much money I made with just text messages. And then whatever else there is. Facebook ads, YouTube ads is really more so Tommy Powers, but I've created YouTube ads that made $1 million with my YouTube, with the YouTube creatives that I made, and the format that I had to make those creatives. So those. So I'm not just I'm not like what did you call it when the dude is like waving his own flag or whatever. I'm not saying that. I'm just telling you so that way you know like why these numbers are. Let me say one thing. Yeah, why these numbers are what they are.
Let me say what he ain't just on here talking, guys. This brother was on my channel about 2.5 years ago and showed his Google account, his Shopify store. The brother had 100 in the last 30 days. He had 180,000.
Yeah, that's yeah.
This ain't no million. This guy speaks at the Traffic Sales and Profit Conference in the June. He speaks there. He's introduced me. I met Tommy Traffic. I know who he's talking about. I've met everybody he told me about is heavy. So I mean, he kind of rubs shoulders with people that everybody from the Traffic Sales and Profit. Tommy Lamar Tyler, but he's one of the speakers on the stage. So that just tell you how he is.
It's about to get even crazier because as of right now, I got a proposal into somebody that's huge, somebody that all of us know, all of us respect. This guy has a this guy has a special that went crazy on Netflix, and I'm not talking about like crazy. I'm talking about like crazy. Like if I was to tell y'all who it is, y'all would be like, oh shoot. So I just got brought in. Did a consultation, did a deep dive and everything, and looked into his online business. He doesn't really know anything about the online world. This guy does what he does. He makes his money how he makes his money. Obviously, he's in the entertainment field. He's in the entertainment field, but he makes his money how he makes it. And the guy was like, I've been praying for somebody that knows what you know. Now that again, the check that I'm asking him for, I think it's a drop in the bucket because I know that if I ask him for $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, again, doubling his money would be $100,000, and that would be a failure. And then given that this guy's already a celebrity, once we put the messaging and everything else out there, this guy's probably going to be doing $1 million months. And I wouldn't, because of his contact, he can pick up the phone and call, these other celebrities that we know, and they're going to be like, oh yeah, you need me to do what? All right, cool. And then now that's just going to make everything else work insanely better than everybody else. Nobody's going to be able to compare to his numbers because of who he already is. He just doesn't know how to put this sauce on it that we know about and make it do what it do. So I guess my level of credibility at that point in time, I'm not going to be able to point to what I did on Shopify and the places that I spoke at. Now is going to be about, do you know this celebrity? Do you know this celebrity? And do you know this celebrity? These niggas made an extra $5 million because I was in the back. And my team was in the back cooking it up. And that's how he did that $3 million day that you guys heard about on Instagram, Facebook, and in the news. Because it's going to be on the Carson Daly Show. It's going to be on the CSNBCs. It's going to be on all these big shows because this guy's been on these shows before. So it's just going to be an event. So again, I'm not. None of these things is going to stop me from being. The guy that I am right now. So I'm still going to be trying to find time to help my people out. I'm still going to be trying to find time to give back, whether I'm helping Jay-Z and Beyonce or whether I'm helping the Prince of England or whatever. Like I'm not going to switch up because I'm already set in pretty much who I am. So these two groups that I have in LA, your first 100 sales, and in LA, your next 100 sales. Do you have $2,000? Do you know what type of product it is that you want to sell? And okay, are you already selling online? And then now, how can we get you to these bigger numbers, the $10,000, the $50,000, and $100,000 a month? And so those are the two groups that I have. So If you know, okay, well, I got $2,000. I just want to make sure that I'm spending it right. I got some questions about my Facebook ads. They're jacked up. I know they should be converting better. I'm thinking about going into this niche, or I'm launching. I've tried to launch 3 or 4 times, and I'm not making any money. What's going on? All of those things can be, all of those things are simple and they can be answered. And people ask those questions inside the group all the time. Depending on if I'm driving like I'm doing now, I'll just turn on the video and I'll just answer you via video. And if you want one-on-one, it's $500 an hour. We'll sit down and do a power hour, and then I'll answer the questions that you present to me. This isn't there's a mindset shift that needs to be in place here, that I want to highlight. And what that mindset shift is if when I give you money, a lot of our people's mindset is, and I'm going to challenge you on this, is if I give you $10,000, I'm waiting for you to give me back $100,000 in value. And what I'm going to tell you to do is, as you move up in the world, let's say you got $25,000 to give somebody. Before you give somebody $20,000 or $50,000 or whatever these crazy numbers should be, you should already know what the value is that you're going to get back from that person, and what that value is going to mean to you. Meaning that I know you know this, and I know when I get this from you, I'm going to make this. So I should already come to the table saying that when I give you this money, I'm going to get this back. When I go out and I spend money, I give these other gurus $10,000. Before I show up, I know that if I get this one thing from this guy, then I'm going to make my money back. I'm already going to be at break even. Now, if I can get this and this, then I'm going to be beyond break even. So I'm going to hit him up and be like, yo, do you know how to do X, Y, and Z? Oh, yeah, we already know how to do that. We've been doing that. And then what about this? Oh, yeah, we're going to do that too. So out the gate, I already know I'm good. Okay, well, here go the 10 grand, because if you can just give me this, then I'm already going to make that money back. So I don't go to an event. I don't go to a conference unless I'm just going because I know I'm just going to be there and I'm going to show love. TSP, traffic sales and profit. I don't have to really ask those questions. I'm going there because I love Lamar, and there's a relationship. There's a relationship there with Lamar, so I'm always going to go there and support. So I don't really care about the content. I don't go to TSP because of the content. I go to TSP because it's a family, it's a community, and it's for the love. But for these other conferences, run by a lot of people that don't look like us, I got questions. And before I swipe my card or shoot a wire over, I ask them those questions first. Or if I'm going to do a one-on-one session with somebody, I make sure that he can answer these questions first, and that way I know that my money is secure. And his brother's proven at doing this. So if I'm like, hey man, I'm not making any money I'm not making any money with emails. How much money do you want? Well, I want $2,500. Okay, cool. Can you show me that you monetize with your own email doing X, Y, and Z? Here go the screenshot. This is what we're doing month over month. Okay, cool. Here go $2,500. If you give somebody $15,000 to join this or join that, and then you're sitting there waiting for them to give you $15,000 worth of value, that's the wrong mindset. You want to go in there and say, I need, regardless of everything else it is that this person is offering you, you want to say, I need, in my particular business, I need these 3 things. Once we get these 3 things and we knock these 3 things out, if you can help me complete and finish these 3 things, we're going to make a whole shit ton of money. And then all of the rest of the stuff that you're offering me, that's cool, but I need to know these 3 things. I shared that with a few big people, and they turned around and shared that with their group when they're bringing these groups in, and they're like, what is it that you need for your particular business? Forget what the group is saying. Oh, we need Facebook ads. Oh, we need Instagram ads. Oh, we need influencer tracking. Oh, we need this. Oh, we need that. What the hell is it that you need in your business? That's how I run these NLA groups. If a week go by and nobody says anything and nobody posts anything, nobody needed anything. If one day somebody asks a question and then 30 other people is like, yo, oh yeah, I need this and the third, blah, 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 then guess what? I'll take a Monday or whatever. I'll read through the questions and I'll be like, okay, for you, this is what your question is. This is what your answer is. This is what your question is. This is what your answer is, and so on and so on and so forth. And they take that information, they do what they do inside their business, and then it is what it is. So We need to be on the mindset of taking versus giving you money and then waiting to receive. We need to be in the mindset of I'm bringing my money, I'm bringing my money, and I'm taking the information it is that I need. This is how our Jamaican brothers, our Caribbean brothers, our folks from the East. This is how they typically operate. They operate with a give me mine, with a not so much give me mine, but this is what I paid for the buffet, and this is what I'm going to be taking from the buffet. We work in most of us on the African American side. We work in the mindset of I gave you this money. Now where is my value? But we shouldn't do that. It's going to be more efficient if we working no matter where we're at. I had a brother that spent 25 grand on a mastermind and was like, man, they ain't gave me 25,000 worth of value yet. And I was like, what? He was like, yeah. And I was like, well, what would 25,000 worth of value look like? He was like, well, if I got a contract from this person, if I got a contract for that person, then it would work. I said, well, have you asked for that? He was like, nah, I thought that's what this was about. I said, bro, go back there at the next meeting and tell them you want this, that, and the third. Why did he come back with a $10,000? Actually, he came back with a $15,000 check, and then he wound up actually having a $10,000 check, and then he wound up getting another check for like another $15,000, and since then he's done like $50,000 in a month. Why? Because he went back with a different mindset. This ain't just a mindset thing, but it's just a how we think and how we move and how we operate. I challenge everybody today, no matter where you're going to go and where you're going to buy something at, like at a Walmart or something like that, when you go there, grab something off the shelf that doesn't have a discount or a discount code on it and tell them that you're ready to buy whatever it is, but you don't want to buy it yet because you need a discount code. It's not for sale. There's no discount code or nothing. And watch what happens. They will find a discount. I've challenged people to do this all the time. They will find you a discount code. They will find you a discount code so that you can buy it. Ask me to the manager. Oh, I need to, it could be a bottle of wine, something random. They will find a discount code. We want to move. We want to move with that same mindset, with that same power as we move through this world. Not as somebody waiting for somebody to hand us something, but to take from something. Sub Zero is here giving you content. Start taking from Sub Zero. What does that mean? Start sending this man email saying, bro, I want to know about this. I need to know about that. I want to know about this. I want to know about that. Now you're not waiting for him to come up with something that you need. You're already telling him. He getting 100 emails now that's saying, I want to know this, I want to know that, I want to know this, I want to know that. He can look at the trends in those things because 5 or 10 people are saying the same thing, and that could be the first video, that could be the next video, and now he can start creating programming specifically for you. You have that level of impact, you have that level of effect, you have that level of influence. You just don't know it because nobody never told you and you've never used it. So now you can start showing up in rooms, whether it's a networking event, whether it's church, wherever it's at, and be like, hey, Pastor, I've been here for XYZ. I need this type of blessing in my life. I need this type of prayer for me in my life, and so on and so forth, so I can continue to be at this church and work with you. This type of mindset can be used any and everywhere that you're at. Even if you're an employee at a job and everything else, what is it that you need to know so that you can do your job better? Go let your boss know I can't perform at my best because I don't know this, that, and the third. And I understand that there's some training here or whatever. Can the company send me to this training so that way I can perform better and I can cut this time in half where we're doing X, Y, and Z? Start moving in a mindset of taking and extracting from things, and the value that you get from things that you pay for or where you're giving things to is going to be exponential. The lady that works for me, I'm here at my office right now. The lady that works for me and does customer service, she doesn't have this mindset, but it doesn't matter. I got the mindset. And I know at some point in time, she's probably going to be like, yo, can I get a raise? So before she even asked that question, I had already anticipated that. There's certain things that I don't, there's money that I can get that I don't even have time to get. So there's money out there for me to get, I don't have time to get. So anyway, I told her, because I know every minute of the day she's not working. So I was like, yo, if you can negotiate this deal, I'm going to give you 10% of it. She whatever, I forgot what her last paycheck was, but she damn near doubled her paycheck because of a deal that she did last year. And that person came back and bought another huge sum. She took her percentage and her paycheck. She ain't asking for nothing. She's working, doing her job, and she's looking for more deals. When these deals come in, she don't even tell me. She just be like, oh, we got an invoice today for X, Y, and Z, and I know based on the numbers, my percentage is going to be this. She cooking. She in here working for me and making me more money. So when we start changing our mindset, we're going to get more out of this life, and we're going to get more out of everything it is that we're going to get more out of everything. Women, tell your man how to perform certain sexual acts for you, and guess what? Your sex life is going to be better. Tell your kids and monitor your kids how to do X, Y, and Z, and let your kids know what's acceptable to you and what's not acceptable to you, and set those limits. Your kids are going to respond better. Tell you, instead of doing all of the laundry, show your kids how to do laundry. In Africa, kids are doing laundry at 5 years old, 3 years old. You know, the minute that child can stand up, walk, and move around, our IQ level, we keep talking about IQ. IQ is measured not just by what you can say, but also your mechanics. So the way they measure baby IQ is through mechanics. So as soon as that baby is now able to use its mechanics, it's now able to move around and guide itself throughout the house, they start giving that baby chores. So now that workload on the mother is a lot lower than what it is. If you plan on coming in and cooking, and you know what those ingredients are, and those kids are sitting there waiting for you to come home and cook, give them all of the ingredients, all of the things that they need to cut up. So they're doing all of the prep work. So now all you need to do is come in there and cook. Or tell your man to take care of all of these, or take care of all of the prep work, and now you can just come in and cook. So this mindset can't just be used in business, but it can be used in business, it can be used in work, it can be used in relationships, it can be used in parenting, blah, 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 blah. I'm done.
Okay, so that was a lot, man. But I wasn't gonna say a word. I was gonna let you just flow, man.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
appreciate it.
That was phenomenal. Erica Williams is actually in the chat, or she was a second ago. So
Uh-oh. Well, I like having these whales in the chat, because they spot lies quick. They're like, that's some BS. Nah, you can't increase your valuation by having the email marketing sequence.
Erica know her game too. I think she crossed over that 7-figure plateau a while ago. So she know her stuff, man. So
absolutely.
I love this whole space of you, because I think it's allowed us to interact and connect with people that we otherwise wouldn't be able to.
Absolutely.
So it's a blessing, man.
It is.
I thank you, brother, for coming on my channel and giving this wealth of knowledge, saying what it is you said. I'm impressed, but I'm always impressed. I call you a lot of times. Because of the type of business that I have, I've had to do a lot of coding. And so it's taken me 6 months to do a lot of code. So I'm just now finishing that code like a couple of days ago. It took me that long. And so I'm ready to kind of start setting up the websites and stuff. So I'm doing that now, and then I'm gonna do landing. I'll probably hit you up, but I want to also, I don't like to bother people, guys. And as you heard what he said, don't come to nobody about how to set up no landing page or a website. Yeah. If it's not converting, then you might want to tweak it. That's when you might want to reach out. But don't, man, what's the landing page? You wasting money and time.
That's all YouTubeable.
Yeah.
Go to YouTube first and educate yourself, because when you go to YouTube, the question becomes a lot sharper and the question becomes smarter. Smart people love a smart question, because it makes them think, even if it's something that they forgot about. They're like, oh yeah, that's like, I forgot all about that. Like, oh yeah, that is tricky. You need to do blah 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 blah. That's not something that you can just Google on a YouTube. But if it's just a broad stroke, how do I set up a landing page? What does a converting landing page look like? Like a lot of the research, you came to the TSP that I spoke at. The reason why I created the 3-step process is because people were out here buying inventory, and they had already set up their Shopify store, and then they was like, yo, this inventory is not moving. And then I started asking them questions at the TSPs, and they couldn't answer none of those questions. So I'm like, okay, well, to me it was basic. And to a lot of people that's already making money, these questions are basic. But for them, they never ask those questions. So what I see a lot of us do again is the marketing side is like tertiary. You know what I'm saying? It's like the third thing. It's like the third rung down. We need to have the marketing at the top, because the marketing is the gas in the car. You can go buy a car, but if you can't put no gas in it, it ain't going to move. We need to think about that in these businesses. We'll say we're going to start a pizza shop. We'll go sign a lease. We'll go buy pizza baking equipment. We already know the recipes, but we don't know how we're going to get people through the door. So now we just sitting there, and then we just go out of business. I think a lot of our businesses in our communities, and probably white folks too, or other ethnicities, right? They're putting the marketing third, but the marketing has to be first. Look at what it's going to take for you, the marketing and the research. So the research you can do on your own. So that 3-step process of show me another business that's killing it. You asked me, how do I know what I'm going to sell my business at? I told you to do research. Go on Flipper and find another business like yours that's sold for X number of dollars, and then you can figure out what yours is. You plan on selling cell phone cases. Okay, show me a business that started just like you with little or no money, whatever your situation may be, and then go launch a business like that. Well, my family just gave me $1 million. Okay, cool. So you already got capital to get started. Go find another business just like yours, or go find somebody who was given $1 million. Does it matter if you start this business, or does it matter that the money goes from $1 million to 10 million? If that's the case, why even invest into a business? Go find somebody that's an investor, or somebody that knows how to take money and make more money with it. So there's a good book called Millionaire Fast Lanes, the valuation of businesses, and also what to do when you already have money and you're trying to make more money with the money that you have, is in that book as well. He basically breaks down how to take stages of money and leverage it and make more money with it. One thing I love about Jewish people, and I don't know this is across the board, all Jews, but the Jews that I hear writing books and these stories of great Jewish businessmen, one thing that I keep hearing them do very well is leverage. What do I mean? What do I mean by leverage? DJ Khaled. So really, it's not. Let me remove the Jewish thing. I'm going to say people from the East. So Arabs, Africans probably do it. I just haven't been exposed to content where I've seen Africans do it. So Africans are probably killing it with this too. But I know that I've seen Arabs and Jewish people that are proclaimed to be Arabs and Jews. I've seen them leverage things very well. So you got a Jewish guy who sees a TV show. He doesn't produce, he doesn't act, he doesn't do anything. Producing, acting, making a show, it's already there. He's the middleman. So this is what I mean by leveraging. All he is just a broker. He's going to take something that's working over here. My head is going to be the middleman. I'm going to take something that's working up over here, and there's something that's over here that could utilize this thing up over here, and I'm just going to bridge these two things together, and I'm going to get paid. I don't have to make anything. I don't even have to have any money. All I need to do is just be able to negotiate the deal, and I'm going to get paid. I didn't spend no money. I didn't make this thing up over here, and I didn't make this thing up over there. I've seen a Jewish guy. The reason why we had the TV show Power Rangers is because there was a Jewish guy working around these TV networks in Japan or in China. It was either like in Japan or China, and they had the Power Rangers. He knew that this show was going to work well in the United States. So what did they do? He told them, hey, well, let's do the TV show in the United States. They said, well, the United States don't want to see Asians on TV. He said, cool, let's take a Hispanic, let's take a couple white kids and a black kid, put them in these tight suits, and then have them run around and be the Power Rangers. They said, well, you know what, it's also expensive to shoot all these fight scenes. He said, no problem. We'll take the fight scenes from the Japanese TV shows. We'll just cut them and edit them and just put them in here. He ain't cutting and editing nothing. He's just a middleman. The deal was done. This dude is a multi tens of millions of dollars he's made off of the Power Rangers, advertising and everything else, and he hasn't made a thing. So depending on what level you're at, go out there, find other business models that looks like the business model that you want to move into, and use that as a guidepost. I have e-commerce businesses that I use as guideposts. I have other e-commerce businesses that I use as like what the next level is going to be. What are you going to be doing next, and what's the next thing for you to try to do? I look at those other e-commerce businesses that I'd probably talk to the owner. Maybe I've seen him at a conference or whatever, to try to get the behind the scenes scoop. So that way I'm not just looking at what's happening on the surface. And sometimes we need a consultant or whoever to kind of be like, is this really true? Like did they just really just do this and then all of a sudden that happened? Or was there some more stuff in the background? What was the secret sauce behind how this happened? I may pay somebody just because I may write something and do something, then pay somebody else just to come in and kind of proofread or proof ideate with me and be like, is this really going to work? And before I even roll it out, and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, like that's solid. Like you don't even need to give me no money. Like I know I'm gonna send you a refund because this is solid." Be like, all right, cool." Or sometimes I'd be like, "Nah, the reason how he actually got that to work was because of this, that, and the third. That was actually a $10,000 investment." Oh, okay. Well, I ain't ready to mess with that yet. So look at what's already working in the marketplace first, and have the marketing first before you launch out and do a business. And if you got some money, you didn't got a settlement or whatever it is, and one of your family members is like, "I need you to invest into me." The way you can invest into them is go hire a consultant. Go hire a consultant for whatever that business is, pizza business, a vegan company, whatever the thing is popping right now, and go figure out how they actually started that business and how they got from zero to hero. That's what you want to know. That's the key. And whatever that strategy is, lay that strategy out, figure out what the budget is behind that strategy, have that money laid out, and then that way you can execute on that strategy. So understand another bit, figure out a business that's just like yours, how that business became successful, lay that strategy out, figure out what the budget is, and then move forward. Don't go buy inventory. You can set up a website if you want, because maybe that don't cost a whole lot, but don't go out here setting up websites and buying inventory and then try to figure out what the marketing is. Figure out what the marketing strategy and the messaging and all that's going to be in the marketing strategy, the messaging and all that type of stuff like that. The design. You may go out here and now spend money on your design, the layout, and everything else of your website, and all of that stuff may not even be what it needs to be. I done did $1 million and everything else, and now I am going back and redesigning the website because the design of the website aesthetically is not for the audience that I've made this money with. So now I'm going to make more money because of design and everything. I'm not a real big design guy, so now I'm starting to learn about user experience and user interface. So UX, UI, user experience, user interface. I'm starting to learn these things now. So my conversion rate is going to jump because now it looks like what people want to see. Imagine selling to a bunch of black women, but you got a white face. So now I'm about to put a black face on this. I'm going to put a black face on it, or a black woman face on it, and sell more to black women. So all of those things, you can figure out all of those things, but you don't take your money and invest it into a family member or anybody, me, whoever, and you start asking me questions. Tieron, what is the business model? What business models are we following? Who else has made money doing this? If I can't answer those questions, don't give me no money. I don't care how much money I made before. You're asking me valuable questions. And if you just love me and you just want to give me money, then go do what? Find a consultant that can get those answers, or go find somebody that's already made money in that business similar to yours, that's maybe in another city or whatever where there's no competition, and pay them money and get the sauce from them, and then make sure that you can apply all of those things to the area or the region that you're in, and go from there.
Wow. Okay, so we definitely out of time because I have to go to a luncheon.
Yep.
But that was, man. Look, that was great, man. I know a lot of times we got on other videos and a lot of people on this, just me and you, and I let you do all the talking. So, the name of the group is NLA First 100 Sales.
Yeah.
NLA Next 100 Sales. So,
yes, sir.
Y'all need to, if you want to try to get in the group, don't come wasting his time. Don't come playing. You know what I'm saying? This brother making money. To him, this is the thing I like about Tieron. Tieron don't need nobody money. I've talked to Tieron. Tieron, like, man, I just ain't got time to be trying to do that. Not that I don't want to help people. I'm so focused trying to run my business. That's why. That's how you know it's legit, because the brother. Usually, when you see somebody and they always talking about how they got millions of dollars, they can do this, they can do that. I'm like, well, if you can do that, first question people ask, why are you helping us? Why don't you just go focus on your own stuff? Well, that's what he said. Yeah. And so now he's kind of coming back, trying to help people in a place of, okay, well, I just want to genuinely help, but to show legit where he is making money. So that's it, man. You got any closing words?
I don't have any. I don't have any closing word. Well, I'm trying to think of something that you just said about the group. Oh yeah, don't come in playing. Even if you get into the group, that don't mean that I still won't kick you out of the group. So I think I let 3 people in, and I had to go ahead and kick those 3 people out just because they wasn't participating. So it's like I know the level of value that I'm bringing to the group. But if you get into a stagnant place where it's just like, oh well, I just wanted to come in here, but then I'm starting to ask you questions. You start telling what my job and this, that, and the third. Then okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and remove you from the group. And then once you're actually actively moving forward, then I'll bring you. Then you can come back and hit me up, and then I'll bring you back into the group. So even if you make it in, yeah, even if you make it in, if you're not active, you're not actually making moves, then I'm gonna go ahead and remove you from the group.
Okay. All right. That's what's up, man. Thank you. God bless y'all. Y'all
God
have
bless y'all. All right. Peace.